Hello folks, today we're going to talk about strategy. You know, a Nerf battlefield can be just like a play chess area. That's right. So you have certain players. Let's say you have pawns, let's say you have knights, let's say you have bishops and rooks and queens. And well, most sensible kids don't play chess anymore, but the really sensible ones are smart, really do, and know that they're all good for their own maneuvers. That's good in a way. But if you don't use them properly, let's say your full auto guys, your guys with long shots, your guys with pistols, not going to do very well. So I'm going to draw a park. Good. Oh, yeah, see? I'm going to try to draw this backwards, but let's see if this works. Here's the park I was playing in the other day. It was a park with a very big lagoon like this. The distance here, between here and here, was 150 feet. Or shall we say 100, oh man, I can't do that. I may have to turn this upside down. So. Okay, so here we are, 150 feet. Okay, you had a playground right here, so there were kids playing here. There was a corridor over here, went around here to there, and it also went over here where there was an amphitheater and a stage right here. Okay. It basically went, just joined together over here. There was a hill up here, but we hardly ever played here. Then you had another, so you had this path went down here and ended somewhere over here. This had a fence over here, which had like some sort of flood control thing, and there was a fence over here. So basically this was completely off limits. You couldn't go into it. Okay? This was a wall because right over here was a school, or as most kids call jail. Don't worry, I did too. And so here you had this pathway, and then you had this hill area. Okay, you had a path up here, you had some soccer fields and stuff back here, and you had a botanical garden back here. But you couldn't do much with it, okay? Because you couldn't, well, first you can't play in the botanical gardens, and second, well, you know, I mean, you're going to run out in the middle of a soccer field, try to take cover. I mean, really, think about it, okay? You had a bunch of trees and happy white clouds here. You had this pathway that went over here, and you had an elevation differential of about, say, 70 feet diff. Okay, and the distance was somewhere around 100 feet. Okay, all the way through. I could be wrong. This could be more like 50. Okay, let's call this 50. I think it's more like 50 feet differential. You had a shack and this and that over here, along this path over here, that ran over here. Okay, so I played at this park. Let me run through the game with you. Basically, we had 3 teams of 2 people. Okay. So let me pull out some tums. All right. Borrowing my roommate's tums here. Okay, the big one represents my team, automatically. Okay, the 2 small ones were my opponents. All right. So I had this guy. His name was Mipos, who's well, let's just say I had to show him some strategy. For example, he didn't know that a mega Magnus was actually repeatable. So when I showed him, he kicked ass with it. But until then, he didn't have it. So basically, what we did, we had 30 seconds. We went over here. We fortified our positions. Okay, so we went over here. We figured that mostly. Excuse me, that's me. Me and this guy. Okay, mostly what was going to happen were these 2 were going to duke it out. Well, they didn't. My friend's team, he told me not to mention him on the air, and my other friend, who I don't know if he wants me or not, but I'll ask him first, wanted to basically get up on me. The only problem was, when I saw them, they were going lower. In other words, they went here and they went lower. What did this mean? It means I told me and Mipos, take the higher ground. Why? First off, we got dart guns. Okay? And even in battle, when you're talking about even in any battle, if you take the higher ground, you can run down and charge them much easier than they can run up and charge you. So this means if you see somebody running and they're going downhill, you go uphill. Okay, so that's what we did. Okay, and about here, we started to exchange some gunfire. I pulled out the bird of prey and tried to hit one of them. And as you know, bird of prey is if you know anything about the 18K Ultra Match, it's the same architecture, but it's 21K, and it's brand new. And I noticed that the Teflon seal started to shrink on it, meaning the oil started to set in, and it was not as airtight as it should be, but it was still doing about 140 feet. It was still doing pretty good, but it was also shooting really wild. So basically, at that point, I sort of tossed it, and I went more for strategy. So what happened was we had an exchange of fire here. They went back here, we went back here, and they went over here, and they went into the trees. We exchanged fire here and here, and there it was. So my friend, who's also the game organizer, trying to find his friends, like where are you, right? Gets a phone call in the middle of battle. Now he's the organizer. These two guys actually, I think, were both organizers, and they had to find him. So what happened was we ended up on the same path, except that because of this tree line, these trees right here, okay, they sort of overhang. You see what I'm saying? At one point, I realized that I could get out of view with these guys. Okay, he ended up around here. I ended up there. We bolted behind this building. Now, my friend Meepos was like, okay, Chris, we gotta, shh, quiet. Don't psych your blast or anything. Just get everything going. There it is. Because I knew what was next. Out of view. Here they come walking up. Here they come walking up. And BAM! Got Zeke. Boom! Out. One hit kill. This is league. But crossbows. One hit kills. He's out. But I wasn't sure I got him because he was shooting so fast. But my teammate actually saw a hit. So, and I hit him once with the, I threw this onto the ground because it's a single shotter. Just threw it on the grass. By the way, you want to throw guns, you want to throw them on grass. You don't want to throw them on dirt, you don't want to throw them on sand. Grass. I'm one for throwing blasters and just grabbing another one off my bat belt. And I just started to open up and I'm just, and not do that. Oh. That's funny, man. That's funny. Alright, so I knew right off the bat that I had him, okay? The problem was now converting, okay? The problem was also because after that, basically, he basically said, my teammate basically said, oh wait, we got him. Well, that turned into a big argument. Well, not an argument, but sort of a dispute a little, and it slows down the gameplay, okay? So basically, this is what I did to both of them. What the fuck is wrong with this gun today? Oh, I'm using all the shoot-up darts. But anywho, you get the idea. Don't throw shoot-up darts in a Stage 3 Retaliator, and hopefully they'll get it right one day. And, right. So I got... There we go. I gotta throw some more lube in here. So I got one, okay, out. Okay, the other one, very quickly as we started the game, I hit him again, the R-Spec. And it wasn't too long after that I got the other one, okay? So basically, here it was, I went in, boom, okay, they called timeout because they couldn't figure out what was going on, and then we played again, the one guy was out, and I got him, so he's out the picture. What we had left were these guys, 2 kids. One kid actually plays soccer. He runs like crazy. And as you know, this ankle got hurt in HVZ. It means my running wasn't very good that day. Okay? It wasn't very good at all. So basically, it ended up a chase back and forth in the park. Remember here, you gotta use caution. Okay, you gotta use caution. There's kids here. Okay? Meaning, whenever we got in an exchange when I was there and there, I had to take very close shots. And I was either surely going to hit them or definitely not hit someone else. Okay? There were people on benches over here. I mean, there were I guess 3 benches, and there were people picnicking over here. So the name of the game is, okay, you play, but you got to keep away from the kids. Now, how are we able to get away with this in this park? It's a park where they play frisbee golf. And you got frisbee golf tokens everywhere. One was over here, another one was one's over here. I think this was 3, this was 4. I think 5 was over here. So you had an excuse for shooting Nerf guns. It wasn't going to hurt as bad as a flying frisbee hitting you right in the head. And and it also had park rangers there. So if you see park rangers walking around, you're playing Nerf guns, and they're cool with it. And once in a while, they tell you not to get all rowdy and wrestle people to the ground. Okay, you're cool. Okay, so here we are. Let's start this over. So we're going through here, boom, 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 and boom, boom, boom. So what happened was me and my teammate, one of my teammates decided to go here, take him out, and then I had to chase this kid with a rapid strike, an unmodded rapid strike, by the way. I mean, literally once over here, once over here, once over here, once over. Oh, it was a pain. Finally, I got 2 well-placed shots before he hit the amphitheater and we won. And the guy said, "Well, it's about time." And I'm like, my ankle hurts. I couldn't go run very fast. So that was battle number 1. Okay. Where did I go wrong with the kids? I'll tell you. Is that we should have split up to begin with. We could take the kids individually. That's not too hard. Okay. But we didn't. Okay.